more people need to talk about this because this is a real issue. It's a real problem. At our age, especially if you're over 40, we're talking 70 to 80% of women are dealing with fibroids, especially we're talking about African women. So imagine 10 women are in the room, 8 of them either currently have fibroids, have dealt with fibroids, are dealing with fibroids, um, they had surgery due to fibroids, they've experienced fibroids. This blows my mind because until I got pregnant, I had no idea that this was a real thing. Like I've heard of fibroids, but I didn't know the staggering numbers when it comes to fibroids. You know, when I got pregnant, and that's when I started talking about it, and then I discovered almost every woman around me either has fibroids or had had surgeries because of fibroids. It's it's insane. So there's got to be something we're doing. There's something wrong. There's something in the water. There's something. 80% is a huge percentage. You know, if you're under 35, that's about 50% of women. That's still a huge number. Like half of the women in the room, 1 in 2 women has a fibroid or, you know, has had a fibroid. So when we're looking at all of these numbers today with fertility issues, so many women dealing with fertility problems, they're having difficulty having babies, or they've had difficulty and they had to go through some form of treatment. You got to dig deeper. Someone like me, for example, I was living my life. I had no idea I had fibroids. But when I look back, then I'm thinking, maybe I've had fibroids all along. Maybe that's the reason why I had a hard time having babies. Like, I never, I thought it was just, oh, it was just a matter of me taking my time and not wanting to have babies. But when I was ready to have a baby, the baby wasn't forthcoming. 5 years into marriage, 6 years into marriage, we still didn't have a child. And I find out when I was pregnant that I had fibroids. But I've been doing detox for years before I was able to get pregnant, which tells me that some of these things I did were the reasons why I was able to get pregnant. So I'm going to share 10, at least 10 proven things that I've done that has helped me and that statistically have shown to help many women. Natural things. Because one of the issues I've had with fibroids is women that have gone through surgery. You have to get pregnant immediately within 6 months anyway. Oh, not within 6 months. At least 6 months after the surgery, you're expected to start trying. And most women, after 2 years, the fibroids tend to come back. In some cases, it doesn't even take up to 2 years. The fibroids come right back. So now you find yourself doing multiple surgeries just to try to help yourself conceive. When you can try some of these natural remedies, and I can honestly tell you they work, because that's what I believe has helped me to be able to conceive. So I'm sharing things I did and things that other women have done that you can do as well. Number one, if you haven't guessed it already, it's diet, right? I've shared this before that trying the raw food diet has been very, very significant in helping me. And I'm still currently on a raw food diet, in fact, because since I had my baby, I am breastfeeding, and I try to watch my dieting, if you will, while I'm breastfeeding, because I want to make sure I maintain my weight. But needless to say, I'm currently on a raw food diet because since I've had the baby, I feel them. They are painful. They're pressing on my bladder. And also, um, just the discomfort, like excess bloating, or just the difficulty with going to the restroom because I'm constipated. Sometimes, all these are symptoms that you're showing because these fibroids are affecting your life, Um, and the most significant for me that makes me very uncomfortable and maybe a little bit insecure, if I will be honest, is I look like I'm still 6 months pregnant, even though my baby is a year and a half. And I'm not a big girl, so I can't really hide it. I look pregnant, and that bothers me because whenever I do this diet, I tend to shrink the fibroids. And when I shrink them, at least I can get down to looking 2 months pregnant, if at all pregnant, but not 6 months pregnant when people are asking me, oh, when are you due? That's not that's not a good look, especially when you're a tiny person. It's just really not a good look. So, first is the diet. I'm going to look at my notes. The first thing is diet that I've done. I know that has helped me. The second thing is exercise. It's cliche, I know. Diet and exercise, but exercise helps a whole lot. Um, I try my best to stay active. And when you have toddlers, you stay active anyway because they want you to stay active. They want to play, they do things, they're running around, they're destroying something, so you're staying active. But outside of that, trying to walk, trying to run, trying to go to the gym, things like that are really going to help. I had to do a lot of that. Before kids, when I was trying to conceive, I was running a lot. I'm a runner. I've run the marathon, the half marathon, so that is something I enjoy. But pick something you enjoy, whatever it is, following some YouTube videos and dancing, whatever works for you. There's no rule to exercise, just staying active is important. Third thing is vitamin D. Vitamin D is shown to be very effective in helping to shrink fibroids. I've shared this before. Try and incorporate vitamin D. I also think magnesium helps a lot, and any kind of thing that would help your liver would also help with shrinking your fibroids. Okay, chastity berry is an herb that also helps a lot because it helps to regulate your hormones, and by so doing, it helps to shrink the fibroids. That's five, I think, or four. I don't remember. I think that's number five I'm mentioning. And then, another thing that has helped me that can also help you is herbal teas. I drink teas a lot in general. So try and incorporate maybe dandelion tea, try and incorporate maybe sea moss. Now they make sea moss teas because they're very high in nutrients. Again, we're trying to incorporate as much nutrients, and burdock is also very good as a tea that you can incorporate into your daily routine. And that leads me to another thing that helps you shrink your fibroids. That is a big, big one, which is number 6, I believe. This is cutting off or cutting down on coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, I'm sorry, but I like coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I like coffee. And when I do drink it, I can feel it. If you listen to your body and you pay attention to your body, you can always tell when something is off. I drink it, but I drink it with the knowledge that this is going to impact me. So I do that sparingly. I'm not dependent on coffee. I just like the taste of it, so I drink it sometimes. So if you're a coffee drinker, do it sparingly, please. Coffee will make your fibroids grow. If you want to shrink them, you cut the coffee off. That brings me to another important thing or drink. This is number 7, I believe. Alcohol. You have to get the alcohol down to bare minimum. Alcohol will make your fibroids worse. So as much as possible, you want to cut down on the alcohol consumption or eliminate alcohol. I they say we listen, but we don't judge, right? I'm not one to tell you don't drink, whatever, don't drink coffee, don't drink this. Drink what you want to drink. Just know that it's going to make your fibers worse and be aware of that. So if you want to cut down on the fibers, you want to cut down on the drinking. Number 8, um, if you want to shrink your fibroids, you want to reduce your stress level. I know. Nobody knows more than me that stress is a part of life. Yeah. But in as much as you have to deal with a lot of stressors, sorry guys, you have to deal with a lot of stress. I get it. Life is stressful as women. We're juggling 500 hats. We're dealing with babies. We have jobs. We have spouses or partners. We have all kinds of things that are coming at us all day. You got to do a better job. I just read this book by Mel Robbins, I believe. It's called Let Them. Let Them. Let people talk. Let your family deal with their own issue. Don't feel like you need to jump on everything and fix everything. If the kids want to run around with no clothes in the snow and you know that they shouldn't do it and you've tried and tried and tried, you don't want to. I'm not saying put anybody at danger. You know what I'm saying, right? So I'm using that as a very, very bad example, and I know it. But you cannot fix the world. We try to fix everything. We try to make things better for everyone. We can't do that. So let them do what they need to do. You have to take care of yourself. That's the point I'm making. Because if you take on the stress of the whole world, you're making the fibroids worse. That's number one, actually. That's like the biggest cause of fibroid. More than anything else is stress. You have to get rid of the stress. Even if you do everything else, if you're stressed out 24/7, you're not getting rest, these things are not going to go anywhere. So you have to cut down on stress. Stress is a big, big challenge. That's a big issue. Number 9 issue with fibroids is green tea. Green tea consumption is shown to have a lot of antioxidants, and because of that, it helps with fibroids. I will confess. So I used to drink a lot of green tea. Again, this is pre-babies. I used to drink a lot of green tea during this whole process, and I'm sure it's helped me, but I got hooked. Like, to a point where if I don't drink green tea, I'm having the shakes. Um, so if there's a non-caffeinated tea that you can have, by all means. If caffeine doesn't bother you, then maybe. But for me, it got so bad that I felt like I was on some kind of drug. So I had to take a step back. But do what works for you. If green tea works for you, do it. There's a lot of evidence that it helps. So if you can incorporate some green tea, I would incorporate some green tea to help me with my fibroids. And I think I went through everything that I would recommend. There's, a lot of people that claim that you can do maybe dairy. I don't suggest it because a lot of dairy has a lot of hormones. And so I cut down on dairy consumption. That's why I went vegan. Like, I got rid of dairy because, again, most of the stuff you're going to read, they're going to tell you dairy is good, dairy is good, dairy. For me, I just found it to be harmful because anything that's going to disrupt my hormones, a lot of dairy have hormones in them. Anything that would disrupt my hormone, it's a no-go area for me. And refined carbohydrates, again, I've shared this in previous videos. You got to let go of the refined foods. So refined carbohydrates is a big problem. Um, Try as much as possible to eat whole foods. I suggest plant-based, but do what works for you. People that do keto, they swear keto works. I've read and I've seen people that say keto helps them shrink fibroids. Not in my case. It has eating a whole lot of meat. just doesn't work for me. I've tried that route, negative results. So for me, and so I recommend what works for me: whole food, plant based. I eat mainly vegan, and as much as possible, I eat raw foods. That has helped me shrink my fibroids like crazy. There's a lot of options when it comes to carbs because, again, our foods are very high in carbs, or most of the foods we're used to eating are high in carbs. So instead of eating white yam, eat sweet potato. Trying to get the yellow potato is better, or the purple potato has better antioxidants, it's better for you, so you don't have to get rid of eating carbs altogether. I shared, instead of making yam fufu or plantain, you could try spelt or, millet. Those are better options for you. Instead of drinking just coffee, you can incorporate more teas, herbal teas that gives you that feeling. And now they have the mushrooms that could also introduce more adaptogenic agents and also antioxidants without the jittery effect, if you like. So that's what I drink sometimes. I get the dandy blend, which, you know, I like it because it makes me think I'm drinking coffee without me really drinking coffee. So I don't get the negative effects that comes with drinking coffee. But some of these mushrooms you have to watch carefully because they throw in a whole bunch of stuff in there that you have to read the labels. You need to learn to read labels so that you're not consuming too many toxic substances that are going to end up creating other negative effects. So that's that. Increasing consumption of healthy foods. The nutshell bottom line is, if you put everything I've said together, it's about decreasing stress, increasing healthy fruits and veggies, and foods that are high in antioxidants. You know, those are the things you need to eat. Hydrating yourself, getting enough rest, eliminating caffeine or coffee as much as possible, and alcohol, you know, just taking care of yourself and feeding yourself good information, good food, good energy, good water, just goodness. That's going to guarantee a shrinkage. I promise you. If you do it, you don't do it for a week or a month. You stick to it 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half, 2 years, because it's not going to happen overnight. I am so sorry. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to stick to it. You give it at least 3 months. When you go real drastic, then you incorporate fasting. If you do intermittent fasting, you exercise, you drink a lot of water, you rest, you decrease your stress, you don't let family or friends or your work or your kids get to your head and mess with you mentally. If you can cut all of that, you're going to cut the size of the fibroids by a whole lot. And then you gradually are going to detox your liver. You're going to detox your mind. You're gradually going to see you're feeling better. These things, the bloating is going away. Oh, my mind is clearer. I just feel overall so much better. And then when you go and check the size, you will find out that, oh my goodness, these things are shrinking. I guarantee you. So don't believe when they tell you, oh, there's nothing that gets rid of fibroids. They're benign, cancerous tumors, and you have to do surgery. And these doctors are pushing you to get a hysterectomy and all these things at a young age. You don't sign up for that. You do the work. You cleanse yourself, you detox your body, you heal your body naturally. Thank you for being here. I hope you gained something today. If you've learned anything, if there's anything that has worked for you, please share it in the comment so other women would also benefit from what you have done that has helped you turn your life around, because this can be traumatizing Like, it can be a really bad feeling. So you want to turn your life around. You want to help others turn their life around. Share with us what you have done, and let's help other sisters to do the same thing, to turn their lives around. Again, my name is Dr. G. I'm a holistic health coach, and my goal is to make sure that we heal. We heal ourselves and we heal our nation. Thank you for your time.